Hello and welcome back to a new session of Vocabulary 101. In this session, we're going to learn connections between an octopus and the month of October, between a bikini and a dilemma, between a monk and a monarch. Okay. Or in other words, we're going to look at words today which have a number driven root in them. That is, there is a number connection. Numbers from 1 to 10 are hidden in these words. Okay. So let's start with the number 1. The number 1 in Greek and Latin roots is represented by mono, uni, solo, and proto. Let's start with mono first. We said we look at the connection between the monk and a monarch, and the connection is the number 1. Okay, a monk is a person who lives alone. He's a member of a religious organization. He's an ascetic. He wanders and he begs for food, maybe, or whatever images and associations you can come up with a monk. But essentially, he's a person who lives alone. A monarch is a king. Yeah, arch is a root for ruling or controlling. So mon means one and arch means to rule. So a monarch is a solo ruler, a person who rules alone. Okay, so that's the connection between monk and a monarch. Okay, other words with mono are a monastery where monks live. That should be fairly easy. A monk is a person who lives alone. In a monastery, though there are a lot of monks, they tend to live alone in their own in blocks or their own caves. Okay, so or you can derive the word monastery from monks. Where monks live is a monastery. Monochrome. Mono is one, chrome is color. So monochrome is one color, or in other words, black and white. Monotone. Mono is one. Tone we know is the texture of sound. So monotone is in one tone. So if I start talking like this in only one pitch, that would be a monotone voice. Or if I don't do that, if you can see that in my voice I'm going up and down, that is not a monotone. Okay, hopefully. uh, Another use of monotone is, for example, if you do the same thing every day, you're bored in your routine. So you can also say your life has become monotonous because it has the same tone. There's not much happening. Okay. A monologue. Log we have already seen in previous sessions from dialogue, etc. A mono means one and log is to speak or write. So monologue is one person talking. Even right now, this is more of a monologue because this is I'm one person talking to everybody else. If I was sitting with someone and somebody was talking back with me, that would be a dialogue or a conversation between two people. So mono means one and log means to speak. So one person speaking is a monologue. Typically, plays and movies are known for their monologues. So, for example, in a movie, one character will speak for a longish duration or will speak more than others and will be very, very dramatic. So, that kind of a scene in a movie is also called a monologue. Monotheism. Mono means one, and the is the root for God. So monotheism means one God. Uh, so religions like Christianity, Islam have one God, right? So mono means one, and theism means God. So monotheism or monotheistic religions are those religions which believe that there is only one God. They might differ on who the one God is, but they believe that there is only one entity as God. There are a lot of other religions, like pagan religions, where there are multiple gods. Even if you look at Hinduism, there's supposed to be like 34,000, 34 million gods and goddesses. Okay, so monotheism is one God. The opposite of that would be pantheism. So pan means all, and theism means God. So pantheism means all kinds of gods. Yeah. Okay, so monopoly. Mono means one, and poly or polein means to sell. So monopoly is when only one person is allowed to sell. So if you look at the Indian context, if you look at the railways, only the Indian railway is controlling the business of rails, right? So that is a kind of a monopoly. So imagine if only one person was selling a particular good, that person would control a monopoly over the business. Okay. Monogamy, mono means one, and gamy is related to marriage. So monogamy is one marriage, which is the standard for most of the world these days. If you have two marriages, that would be bigamy. We look at this root for the number two later. So monogamy is one wife. A monocle. I'm sure in old movies or with maybe related to Mahatma Gandhi, you've seen that one single piece eyewear, right? Basically a spectacle with only one glass. So mono means one, and ocle means eyes or related to eyes. So monocle means one eye or one eyepiece. Okay. Monokini, a very interesting word. Mono is one. So monokini is a one-piece garment, typically a beach garment, which you wear to go to a beach. Kini is not really a word or a root. The word monokini has been derived from bikini. The bikini itself, some people might think that the bikini in bikini, the bi is two, but it's not. Bikini is a place where the atom bomb was tested, and the introduction of the bikini in the modern world was considered to be as explosive. So from there, the word came bikini, and then word enthusiasts must have connected by with two, and they when they made a one piece garment, they called it a monokini. So this is quite an interesting connection. Okay, moving on. Monobrow. Okay, mono means one, and we know what an eyebrow is. So monobrow is when your two eyebrows merge together to form one eyebrow. Okay, so that's monobrow. Monomania. Mania is madness, mono is one. So monomania is obsession with one thing. So let's say if you go crazy about one thing, you totally obsess and think of it all day long, you might be considered a monomaniac. Okay, it could be a good thing also, because let's say you're obsessed about studies or learning or getting better. So even that could be a monomaniacal passion about something. Okay. Moving on, let's look at the next root related to the number one, which is uni or uni, which means one again. So the word unicorn. Now, a unicorn is a mythical, magical animal. I mean, it does not exist in real life, or maybe it does. Most people have not seen it. Only people really high on life tend to see it. Okay, so a unicorn is a mythical animal, typically represented as a horse, maybe a white horse, a beautiful horse with one horn coming out of the head. Okay, so as you can see, one horn coming out of the head. Uni is one, and corn is the Greek word for horn. So unicorn means one horn. I hope you know what a horn means, or the image will definitely help. Okay. Okay. Next up is unison. Okay. Uni means one, and sun or son comes from sound. Sonar, sonic are other words from son. So unison means in one sound. So when people say something together, when they say yes sir or yes we can together in one voice, that is unison. Okay. Union, when people get together to form a group, that is called a union. Getting together, becoming one, right? Uni is one. So when a diverse range of people or a group of people or maybe workers unite together, even the word unity and unite comes from one, to become one. So that is the word union. Unitard is another interesting word. It's a one piece dress. Uni means one. The image would help more than the description. It's a tight fitting one piece garment of stretchable fabric. So, typically, circus performers or acrobats use it. It looks funny, but it might have its functions. Okay. What's interesting is is how the word is derived. The word is derived from the word another word called leotard, which is pretty much means the same thing: a tight fitting, stretchy fabric dress. But this word comes from a French artist, a trapeze artist called Jules Leotard. So maybe he designed the dress for the first time, and after his name, the dress became famous. The dress name to be called the leotard, and from that, another somewhere some word enthusiast, somebody who understands the structure of word, converted the leotard into a unitard. So the tard connection is, I mean, it's from a word, but the uni comes from the Greek root or the Latin root for one. Okay, moving on. The last of the major roots for the number one is solo. Solo means alone. The root is Latin in nature. The first word let's look at is solipsism. Solo means one. Ipse means self. and it's a theory, or the isms typically relate to theories like Hinduism, Buddhism, Zennism, etc. I meant Jainism. So isms typically indicate ideologies or belief systems. So solipsism is a belief system that self is the only thing that can be known, that is the only thing that you can be sure about. The world of external information, because it is coming through a membrane of senses, you can't really trust it. Okay. A very interesting theory, but we'll not go into too much detail here. But solo means one, ipse is self. So solipsism is a theory of uh, the idea that only the self can be known. Okay. Next up is solitaire. Couple of meanings for this word. Solo, as now I'm sure you know, is one. Now, a solitaire could be a single diamond, basically in a ring, a single diamond in a ring. And this is also a very famous card game. Basically, a person can play alone, right? Solitude. Solo means alone. Solitude is being alone, or the idea of being alone. So, for example, let's say you spend a lot of time with people, and after that you need some solitude. So people go to the mountains to remove themselves from society, or even in your day-to-day life, maybe after spending some time with your friends, you need time alone to think, to ponder, to slow down, maybe. So that idea is called solitude. Okay. Solidarity. Solo is one. So let's say when you're being one with someone, you want to show your support with them, right? You want to say that you are one with that idea, you belong with them, basically you're forming a union with them, right? So that idea is known as solidarity. Okay. So for example, when there is a terrorist attack in the world, a lot of people step forward and show solidarity. They say that we stand with you, we are together, and we are one, right? Next up is soliloquy. Soliloquy, sololoquy, loquy, soliloquy. Solo is one, and loka and loku is speak. So sololoquy is one person talking. Soliloquy, soliloquy, loco, soliloquy. So yeah, it's typically like a monologue, one where one person. We discussed this word earlier, where in a movie or in theater, one person talks to the audience for a while. It's pretty much the same thing. Uh, it could be more internal compared to a monologue. Monologue is maybe you're talking to the world, and in soliloquy, maybe you're talking to yourself more. So maybe that could be the differentiating factor between these two words, right? And lastly, just the word solo itself is a word. Uh, for example, when you are taking flying lessons, or when you're trying to learn to fly, a very important landmark is your first solo flight, right? Where you're flying alone, the instructor is not sitting with you. Or you might use it colloquially in saying, I'm going solo on this. That means I'm going alone on this. I will decide what needs to be done alone on this, right? Or I'm sure in your school you must have had solo singing or solo dancing competition. Uh, uh, basically, solo because you were dancing or singing or participating in whatever activity alone by yourself. So the word, just the root solo itself can be used as a word, and which means alone, right? That covers all the major roots or prefixes for number one. There is one last one which is called proto, and the words are protocol, prototype. Just the prefix proto, again, like solo, maybe you'll find it in some word like proto Neanderthal or proto civilization or protoplasm. Proto again means first. So let's say a prototype is the first type. So let's say you're trying to build a machine or a robot. You'll make the first copy, right? You will try and work out the design before going into mass production or making multiple copies of it. So the first type is the prototype, right? Okay, that's about it for the number one. I'm sure there are a lot of other words which I have not covered. But remember, the idea here is to understand the structure, so that even new words we can probably guess the meaning using what we do know, right? Plus, we are learning these words in one go, and we see a very clear connection between them, which helps us remember these words slightly more easily. Also, learning of words is essentially learning about the world. So when you're looking at these words, you're also thinking a lot of these ideas. So remember, our course in vocabulary or learning words is not only about words and word meaning or trying to learn the language, you're learning a lot of ideas, right? And I'm sure you want a lot of ideas because you want to do things, and you want to get better and maybe do well for yourself and for the people around you. So you need a lot of good ideas. And remember, words are nothing but ideas. So always look for the story behind the word. Also try and establish a connection. Look at images. I'm sure looking at images helps. Okay, so make sure that it's you spend some time working out these meanings and connecting it to the real world and doing some storytelling, so that even remembering becomes slightly easy. In part 2 of this session, we'll be looking at words related to the numbers 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, going up to 10, and maybe some bigger numbers also. Okay. So, see you soon. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you.